Hello, everyone, and welcome back to An English Podcast, your go-to podcast for real-world English conversations. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. Today we're tackling something that can feel a bit nerve-wracking, but is super important, meeting someone new and making a great first impression in English.
Exactly. Whether you're starting a new job, joining a club, attending a party, or just making friends in an English-speaking country, knowing how to introduce yourself and keep a conversation flowing is essential.
And the good news, it's way easier than you think. Today we're going to break down the entire process step by step, from the very first hello to exchanging contact information and staying in touch.
We'll cover opening lines, asking the right questions, sharing about yourself, finding common ground, and so much more. Plus, we'll give you tons of real examples you can start using immediately. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Mark, where should we start?
Let's start at the very beginning, the introduction. This is your first chance to make an impression, and there are some really simple formulas that work every time.
Perfect. So, when you meet someone new in English, the basic structure is pretty straightforward. You usually start with a greeting, then introduce yourself, and maybe add a little context about why you're there.
Right. Let me give you some examples. If you're at a casual gathering like a party or social event, you might say, "Hi, I'm Mark. I work with Sarah. She invited me tonight. How do you know her?"
Great example. Notice how Mark did three things. He greeted, gave his name, and provided context. That context is really helpful because it gives the other person something to respond to.
Exactly. Now, if you're in a more formal setting like a networking event or professional conference, you might add your job or role. For example, "Hello, I'm Anna. I'm a marketing manager at Tech Solutions. What brings you to the conference?"
Perfect. And here's a pro tip. When you introduce yourself, make eye contact, smile, and if it's culturally appropriate, offer a handshake. Body language matters just as much as your words.
So true. Now, what if someone introduces themselves to you first? How do you respond?
Great question. The easiest response is to mirror their introduction. So if someone says, "Hi, I'm David," you respond with, "Hi, David, I'm Mark. Nice to meet you." Then you can add a follow-up like, "How do you know the host?" or "What do you do?"
Yes, and here's something important. If you didn't catch their name, it's totally okay to ask again right away. You can say, "Sorry, I didn't catch your name," or "Could you repeat that? I want to make sure I get it right."
Much better to ask immediately than to pretend you heard it and then feel awkward the entire conversation.
Absolutely. Now, let's practice a quick introduction scenario. Anna, imagine we're at a friend's birthday party and we've never met before.
Okay, let's do it.
"Hi, I'm Mark. I work with Tom. We're on the same team. How do you know him?"
Oh, nice to meet you, Mark. I'm Anna. Tom and I went to university together. We've been friends for years. So, you work together. What do you do?
"I'm in software development. We actually just launched a new project last week, so it's been pretty exciting. What about you? What do you do?"
I'm a teacher, actually. I teach English as a second language, which is why I love these kinds of conversations.
That's so cool. I bet you have some interesting stories from your students.
And there you go, a perfect natural introduction. Notice how we both gave context, asked follow-up questions, and showed genuine interest. That's the key.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about one of the most important skills when meeting someone new: asking good questions.
Yes, questions are what keep the conversation alive. You don't want to just talk about yourself the whole time, but you also don't want to interview the person with rapid-fire questions.
Right. It's all about balance. So, what kinds of questions work well when you're getting to know someone?
Great starting questions are open-ended, meaning they can't be answered with just yes or no. Here are some favorites. What do you do for fun? How did you get into your line of work? Have you been living in the city long?
Those are perfect. They invite the person to share more about themselves. And here's another tip: listen for keywords in their answers that you can ask about.
Yes. For example, if someone says, I just moved here from Seattle, you could ask, Oh, what brought you here? Or, How are you finding it compared to Seattle? That shows you're actually listening.
Exactly. Now let's talk about some specific question categories that work really well. First up, questions about background and origin.
These are great for getting to know someone's story. You can ask things like, Where are you from originally? Have you lived here long? What brought you to this city?
And if they're from another country or city, you can ask, what do you miss most about home? Or what's been the biggest surprise about living here?
Love those. Next category, work and career questions.
Most adults will talk about their work, so questions like these are solid. What do you do for work? How did you get into that field? What's the most interesting part of your job?
And if you want to go deeper, you can ask, What made you choose that career path? Or, Are you working on any exciting projects right now?
Perfect. Now, here's an important category that often gets overlooked: hobbies and interests.
Yes, this is where you can really connect with people. Ask things like, What do you like to do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies? Have you read any good books lately? Are you into sports or fitness?
And if they mention something specific, dig deeper. If they say they love hiking, ask, do you have a favorite trail? Or where's the best place you've hiked?
Exactly. The key is to show genuine curiosity. People love talking about their passions.
Now, let's talk about travel, because this is almost always a safe and interesting topic.
Travel questions are fantastic conversation starters. You can ask, Have you traveled anywhere interesting recently? What's your favorite place you've ever visited? Do you have any trips coming up?
And here's a fun one: if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? That one often leads to really interesting conversations about dream destinations.
I love that question. Okay, we've covered asking questions, but what about sharing about yourself? How do you do that without sounding like you're bragging or talking too much?
Great question. The key is to be interesting, but not overwhelming. When someone asks about you, give a complete answer, but keep it conversational. Don't just say one word, but don't give a 10-minute monologue either.
Right. For example, if someone asked what you do, instead of just saying, I'm a teacher, you could say, I'm an English teacher and I mostly work with adult learners. It's really rewarding because I get to see people gain confidence as they learn.
Perfect. You gave information, added a personal touch, and made it relatable. Now, the other person has several things they could respond to.
Exactly. And here's another tip: use the give and ask back technique. After you answer a question, ask them something related, like, I'm a graphic designer. I love the creative side of it. What about you? What do you do?
That keeps the conversation balanced. You're not just talking about yourself, and you're not just interrogating them. It's a back and forth.
Now, let's talk about something really important: finding common ground. This is what turns a polite conversation into a potential friendship.
Yes, finding common ground means discovering shared interests, experiences, or opinions. When you find something you both connect over, the conversation becomes way more natural and enjoyable.
So, how do you find common ground? Listen for clues in what they say. If they mention they love coffee and you do too, that's your opening. You could say, Oh, I'm a huge coffee person too. Have you tried that new cafe downtown?
Or if they mention they're learning a language and you've done that too, you can share your experience. That's awesome. I learned Spanish a few years ago and it was challenging, but so rewarding. What language are you learning?
These moments of connection are gold. They're what make people want to keep talking to you and see you again.
Absolutely. Now, let's practice finding common ground. Anna, imagine I just mentioned that I love reading science fiction books.
Oh, I love sci fi too. Have you read anything by Andy Weir? I just finished Project Hail Mary and it was incredible.
No way, that's on my reading list. I loved The Martian. What did you think of Project Hail Mary compared to that?
I think it might be even better. The storyline is so creative, and the main character is hilarious. You're going to love it.
Now I'm even more excited to read it. We should swap recommendations sometime.
And just like that, we found common ground, deepened the conversation, and even opened the door to future interaction. See how natural that felt?
So natural. That's what happens when you connect over shared interest. Now, let's talk about some conversation topics to avoid when you're meeting someone new.
Yes, this is important. There are certain topics that can make people uncomfortable or lead to awkward moments, especially when you don't know someone well yet.
Right? The big ones to avoid are politics, religion, money, and overly personal topics like relationship problems or health issues, unless the other person brings them up first.
Exactly. These topics can be divisive or too intimate for a first meeting. You want to keep things light, positive, and comfortable.
That said, you don't have to be boring. You can still have interesting, meaningful conversations. Just focus on neutral topics like travel, food, movies, books, hobbies, local events, or funny stories.
Great point. And if someone brings up a controversial topic, you don't have to engage deeply. You can acknowledge it politely and then steer the conversation elsewhere. For example, if someone mentions politics, you could say, "Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time. So, have you checked out any good restaurants lately?"
Smooth redirect. Now, let's talk about body language and nonverbal communication because this is just as important as what you say.
So true. When you're meeting someone new, your body language sends a message before you even speak.
Right. Here are some key things to remember. Make eye contact. It shows you're engaged and confident. Smile genuinely. It makes you approachable and friendly. Keep an open posture. Don't cross your arms or turn away.
And nod occasionally to show you're listening. Lean in slightly when they're talking about something interesting. These small gestures make a big difference.
Also, be mindful of personal space. In most English speaking countries, people typically stand about an arm's length apart during conversations. Too close can feel invasive, too far can seem disinterested.
Great reminder. And here's something people often forget: put your phone away. Nothing says, "I'm not interested," more than checking your phone while someone's talking to you.
Yes, if you need to check your phone, excuse yourself politely. Say something like, "I'm so sorry. I need to quickly check this message. I'll be right back to what you were saying."
Perfect. Now let's talk about humor. Can you use humor when meeting someone new, or should you play it safe?
I think humor is great, but you have to be careful. Light, self deprecating humor or observational humor usually works well. For example, if you spill your drink a little, you might laugh and say, "And that's why they don't let me near expensive carpets."
That's perfect. You're being funny without putting anyone else down. But avoid sarcasm, dark humor, or jokes about sensitive topics until you know the person better.
Exactly. And if you're not naturally funny, don't force it. Being warm and genuine is more important than being the funniest person in the room.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk about active listening because this is one of the most underrated skills when meeting new people.
Active listening means you're fully focused on what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Right. Here's how to be an active listener. First, give them your full attention. Put away distractions and really focus on their words.
Second, show you're listening with verbal cues like, "Oh, that's interesting. Really? Wow," or "I see."
Third, ask follow up questions based on what they just said. This shows you were paying attention and care about what they're sharing.
And fourth, reflect back what you heard. You might say, "So it sounds like you really love traveling through Japan. That must have been an amazing experience."
These techniques make the other person feel heard and valued, which is the foundation of any good relationship.
Now let's talk about something many English learners worry about: what to do when there's a pause or awkward silence in the conversation.
First of all, don't panic. Brief pauses are completely normal. They give both people a moment to think. A couple seconds of silence isn't awkward at all.
Right, but if the silence stretches on, you can gently restart the conversation. Here are some easy phrases. So, what else are you interested in? I'm curious. How did you get started with that? By the way, have you heard about
Or you can comment on your surroundings. This is a great venue, isn't it? The weather's been amazing today. I love the music they're playing.
these are all low pressure ways to get things flowing again. And honestly, the other person is probably relieved you broke the silence.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about wrapping up a conversation and exchanging contact information because this is where a lot of people get nervous.
Yes. So you've had a great conversation, you've connected with someone, and now you want to stay in touch. How do you make that happen without being pushy?
First, watch for natural ending points. If the conversation has naturally wound down, or if one of you needs to leave, that's your moment.
You can say something like, well, I don't want to keep you, but it was really great talking to you. Or I should probably get going, but I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Perfect. And then, if you want to stay in touch, be direct but casual about it. You could say, we should grab coffee sometime, or I'd love to continue this conversation. Can I get your contact info?
Or you can offer yours first. Here, let me give you my number. Feel free to text me if you want a meetup sometime.
Most people will appreciate the directness. And in today's world, you can also connect on social media. Are you on Instagram? Let's connect.
Yes, LinkedIn works great for professional connections. Just say, I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. What's your last name so I can find you?
And here's a pro tip. When you exchange contact information, follow up within a day or two. Send a quick message like, hey, it was great meeting you last night. Let's definitely grab that coffee soon.
That follow up is crucial. It shows you meant what you said and keeps the connection alive.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about some common mistakes people make when meeting someone new so you can avoid them.
Great idea. Mistake number one, talking too much about yourself. Remember, it should be a conversation, not a monologue.
Mistake number 2, not asking any questions. If you're not asking about the other person, you're not really engaging with them.
Mistake number three, being glued to your phone or constantly looking around the room. It makes you seem disinterested or like you're looking for someone better to talk to.
Mistake number 4, negativity. Don't complain about your job, the weather, traffic, or anything else when you first meet someone. Keep things positive. Mistake number 5, interrupting. Let people finish their thoughts before you jump in. And mistake number 6, forgetting names immediately. Really try to remember their name and use it occasionally in conversation. People love hearing their own name.
These are all easy to avoid once you're aware of them. Now, let's practice putting it all together with a longer role play scenario.
Great idea. Let's imagine we're at a professional networking event. I'll start.
Hi there, I'm Mark. I just joined the tech startup down the street. Is this your first time at this meetup?
Hey, Mark, I'm Anna. No, I've actually been coming to these for a few months now. Welcome. How are you finding the startup world?
It's been exciting, but definitely a learning curve. I came from a corporate background, so the pace is much faster. What do you do?
I run a small consulting business helping companies with their digital marketing strategies. I actually made a similar transition a few years ago, so I totally get what you're saying about the pace.
Oh, wow, that's great. What made you decide to go out on your own?
I wanted more flexibility and to work with different types of clients. It was scary at first, but it's been incredibly rewarding. Are you enjoying the startup so far?
Yeah, I love the energy, and the team is amazing. We're working on a really cool project right now. Hey, since you've been in this space for a while, do you have any advice for someone navigating the startup world?
Absolutely. My biggest advice is to network consistently. Events like these are gold. And don't be afraid to ask for help. The startup community is usually really supportive. Actually, I know a few people who might be great contacts for you. Would you be interested in connecting?
That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Here, let me give you my card. Can I get yours as well?
Of course, here you go. I'll send you an email this week with some introductions. It was really great meeting you, Mark.
Likewise, Anna, thanks for being so welcoming. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Perfect. See how natural that felt? We introduced ourselves, found common ground, exchanged valuable information, and set up future contact. That's exactly how networking should work.
And notice how neither of us dominated the conversation. It was balanced, genuine, and both of us got something out of it.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the key points we've covered today.
Great idea. So, when meeting someone new, start with a confident introduction that includes your name and some context. Ask open-ended questions and really listen to the answers. Look for common ground and shared interests. Keep your body language open and engaged.
Avoid controversial topics when you first meet. Use humor carefully, but don't force it. Be genuinely curious about the other person. And don't forget to follow up if you want to stay in touch.
These skills will serve you well in so many situations: social gatherings, professional events, traveling, or just making friends in a new place.
And remember, everyone feels a little nervous meeting new people. Even native English speakers. The key is to be yourself, be kind, and be genuinely interested in others.
If you focus on making the other person feel comfortable and valued, the conversation will naturally flow. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present and authentic.
Couldn't have said it better. All right, everyone, we hope this episode gave you the confidence and tools you need to meet new people and make great impressions in English.
If you found this helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share this with anyone who's learning English or wants to improve their social skills.
And let us know in the comments, what's the hardest part about meeting new people for you? We read every comment and love hearing from you.
P, thanks so much for spending the last 30 minutes with us. I'm Mark.
And I'm Anna. Until next time, keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, everyone you meet is just a stranger you haven't befriended yet.
Happy chatting, everyone.
See you next time!